Moby Dick, or The Whale, is an 1851 novel by American writer Herman Melville. In the book, Sailor Ishmael describes the obsessive quest of Ahab, captain of the whaling ship Pequod, for revenge on Moby Dick, the giant white sperm whale. Moby Dick destroyed Ahab's ship and severed his leg at the knee on a previous voyage, so Ahab now wears a prosthetic leg made out of a whalebone. Ahab and the crew continue their search for the white whale, encountering obstacles along the way. For example, harpooner Queequeg falls ill, so they build a coffin, thinking he would die, but he recovers. Later, Ahab receives a prophecy from a crew member informing him that he will be killed by a hemp rope. Ahab ignores the warning. Finally, Ahab spots the white whale and the crew battles with Moby Dick for 3 days. Eventually, Moby Dick rams the Pequod and sinks it. Ahab is then caught in a harpoon line and then hurled out of his harpoon boat to his death. All of the remaining whaleboats and men, except for Ishmael, are caught in the vortex created by the sinking Pequod and pulled under to their deaths. Ishmael managed to escape the whirlpool, and he alone survives. He floats atop Queequeg's coffin, which popped out back from the wreck, until he is picked up by another whaling ship, the Rachel. Although the novel was a commercial failure and out of print at the time of Melville's death in 1891, its reputation grew immensely during the 20th century. Since Moby Dick, the term white whale has become a slang word for something that is notoriously hard to find or catch. Unlike Captain Ahab, we at Typewriter Minutes long searched for, and recently caught, our white whale without getting dragged to the bottom of the ocean in the process.
This is Lily from Typewriter Minutes. Like whales, Olympia typewriters travel in pods.
So here is a pod of Olympia SM3s. We haven't done an Olympia review in a long time. I think we reviewed an Olympia SF. We've never done a review of an Olympia SM3 or 4, and we have one to review today. So these machines are all still projects that I need to work on. They need to be cleaned up and tuned and tested. This one here is our white whale. We picked that up not too long ago. It's been taken completely apart, clean, tuned, adjusted, and it has a brand new rubber platen from J.J. Short. So you'll see in a few minutes the thing just types like a dream, but we thought we would show some of the other colors that Olympia SM3s came in. First, the two-tones. I would love to know from somebody that worked at the factory whether Olympias came out of the factory looking like that, because there are different two-tones out there. There's maroon and gray. I've seen them reversed with gray up here and maroon on the body. I've seen cream and green, and probably a few others that I can't think of. I just don't know if they came out of the factory that way or if the dealers swapped out the body parts, but every now and then you do find two-tone Olympias, and they just look really cool. We have a nice minty green one back there. Brown, until we found this white one. I think brown was probably my favorite of the colors. I just love the chocolate brown on those with the chocolate brown keys. This one here, the body is about as flawless as you can get. Just haven't cleaned the insides yet. And then over there we have a gray with mathematics symbols or math symbols on the keys. You can see them down there. So again, those are machines that I still have to work on. But this one is our white whale. We're nicknaming him Moby Dick for obvious reasons. He is our white whale. We've been looking for a white one like this for a long time. And this is our SM3 pod, and we'll begin the review of this white whale.
Okay, Dad, tell us a little bit about this 1958 Olympia SM3.
Okay, well, the first thing to note is that it has a gorgeous, shiny white paint. The other Olympia SM3s that I showed you in the intro all have crinkle paint. There might be another shiny colored Olympia, but I don't recall ever seeing one. They did make an Olympia SM5 a little bit later on that had teal knobs, looked a little bit different. This is the only one that I'm aware of that has nice, shiny, smooth paint. And in the natural light, the keys and the platen knobs look black. And that's what I thought when I first bought it. I thought they were black. When you put it under a lamp, it's really a super, super, super dark green. So I don't know if they intended it to look like black or dark green, but I don't know. In daylight, it looks like black. In nighttime, when you're using artificial light, it looks like a super dark green. Jonah, why don't you show us a little bit about the keyboard, and then we'll show some of the features. What do we have over on this side?
The carriage lock.
So the carriage lock, right now it's in the lock position. When you're ready to type, just push it down. Okay, what do we have over here?
The margin release.
Margin release. What don't we have up here?
The dedicated one key.
Right, no dedicated one or exclamation mark. There is an exclamation mark over on this side, hiding up here, but there's no one, so you have to use a lowercase l for that. I got shift lock. What do we have over here, Jonah?
There is a tabulator, but no key set tabulator.
Yeah, the SM2, which was the predecessor, did not have any tabulator, so if you don't see a tab key, it's probably an SM2 or maybe an SM1. I don't know much about those. But the SM3s have a tabulator, but it wasn't until the SM4s, actually it wasn't over here, it was they added a key set and clear on the sides of the space bar. So if you see a plus and minus button or key on each side of the space bar, you know it's an SM4. And then
we got the
backspace and
color selector.
Yeah, it's a really snazzy looking color selector switch with blue stencil and red. And then over here on the back of the machine, you can see, if you're looking at these online and you see these manual tab sets, then you know it's an SM3, not an SM4. I actually really like these just because they're simple. You don't have to worry about extra mechanisms for the key set tabulator not working. This is just a bulletproof design that works really well, unless you're moving your margins around a lot or your tabs a lot. I kind of prefer the SM3. And I like the looks of the SM3. For some reason, having the little extra keys on the side of the space bar just detracts slightly from the looks. So over here we have the variable line space plunger. Push that in. So you got clicks. Push that in and you can release the clicks to type wherever you need to on a form. We have nice big paper bail with an industrial size ergonomic hook for your thumb or finger. We have a little eraser table here. So people used to push the paper down and erase on that, and then all the crap from the eraser shavings falls down in the machines, and 50 years later it's a pain to clean. So please keep the erasers away. It has probably the largest paper release lever I recall seeing on a portable. So if you put your paper in crooked and you need to scooch it, this here flips up and back. Let's see, over to the back of the machine. Oh, we have, I think, probably the strongest switchblade paper support ever. The spring on this thing is just incredible. And it really pops out of there with some force. And then this slides up and you can see, it may be hard to see in the light, but you can see the numbers there that shows you how long you have to go before you get to the bottom of your page. So that goes down, slides back in. SM3s have these little pinch and slide margins, work really well for left and right margins. See, I think we've covered everything on this side. Over to the back, just show you again, the paint on this thing is just gorgeous. The stickers are still really nice. There's the plaque, made in Western Germany. Oh, On over to this side here is the platen release lever. When you push that down, the clicks also go away. This one retains your click position, so if you are typing H2O and you want to get back to your original line, use this one instead of the variable line space plunger on the other side. It does have a nice chrome paper guide here that slides left and right, so you usually keep that on 0, but you can put it wherever you want. Right here, what do we have, Jonah?
We have
Line space selector. So single, double, triple, or I can't remember, it might be single, space and a half, and 2, but that's your line space selector. And then look under the hood here. This just pops up, and it's retained in the down position with these springs, these little springs here. These little clips here push down into the springs, one on each side, there and there, and then that's what gives you the tension that keeps it in place. And then it just pops up. And this, I believe, has the original spools. Not for sure what original Olympia spools look like, but this thing looked totally minty when I got it. It was not all that dirty. It was a little dirty on the inside, so we did take it all apart, cleaned it. Probably is only about half as bad as some other typewriters that I've cleaned up recently. But it's always cool having the original metal spools. Does have the fork for the ribbon reverse system, but you do not need eyelets in Olympias. I know I see a lot of people put eyelets in, and it can work, although this was designed to work without eyelets. Just the way the angles are between the ribbon spool shaft and the ribbon fork going over this way. When it gets to the end of the ribbon, it pulls it tight and flips this down. So eyelets can get jammed in there. I see people putting them in, so maybe they work better than I thought, but this was designed to be used without eyelets. I just love the look of the Olympias on the inside, especially when they're clean. You can see down in there it's got a red frame. Part of the frame is painted red, and so right now everything's just nice and sparkly silver and red down in there. And then here is the touch control lever. So light or heavy touch, I usually keep it on about the middle position. So I think that about covers it for the type basket. It does have a clear paper guide right here. Some people don't like the paper guide because they think it distracts from the look of what you've typed. It doesn't really bother me. And when we have the paper guides like this, every time you put paper through, you could just turn the platen, and usually the paper just goes up and under the paper bale rollers without having to lift up the paper bale. So that's one benefit of having the clear paper guide. And it's got little holes right there and right there, so if you want, you can stick a pencil or a pen in and either make vertical lines or horizontal lines. Oh, I forgot to show the carriage release lever. So there's your carriage release lever. Yeah, it's only on the right side. So one carriage release lever on the right. So I think that about covers it as far as the looks and the features. The really nice thing about this machine is that with the new platen in there from JJ Short, the thing just types like a dream. The other SM3s that I have that I showed you at the beginning of the video, even though they haven't been cleaned and tuned, they still type fine, but they are loud when you have a platen that's just rock hard. They're kind of really loud, clacky typewriters, and having the new rubber on the platen just makes all the difference in the world. So it's really a dream to type on. And I smeared some ink on the ribbon paper eraser. Get off my typewriter. Okay. So we'll show you the case, and then we'll do the type test.
Let's take a quick peek of the underside.
Yeah, I wanted to show you, I did have everything off, body panels off, platen obviously out since we replaced it, but the original rubber washers on these were just melted to tar. It was just a black tar substance, and it was real kind of a pain to get it off the body panels, but those have been replaced. The rubber feet are still nice and squishy like new, and then you can see part of the red frame in there. So you can see nice shiny silver with the red frame. Just a few teeny tiny little scuffs down on the bottom there, but otherwise, like I mentioned, the paint's in good shape. You can see here and on the other side, there's, if you zoom in, there's a scuff right there, and that's because when those when the original rubber grommets go bad and get smushed down because of time and the weight of the machine pressing on them, the carriage is lowered, and so it starts scraping on the body panel right there. And there's the same mark on the other side. So if you buy an Olympia SM3 or 4 and you notice that's making a grinding noise when you move the carriage, stop moving the carriage and double check the rubber spacers underneath, because they probably need to be replaced. And when they replace them, lifts the carriage up enough and it doesn't scrape on there anymore. So, okay, that's the underside of the machine.
And now for the case.
Okay, so Olympia SM3s had this metallic looking case. It's not metal, it's wood, and it's painted silver. This one has the original key, which is kind of nice. And this one has, I don't know what the stain is. I tried to get it off, and I'm just afraid if I use anything more harsh that it's going to take the finish off, and I don't really want to have to refinish the whole case. So it's got those stains, but otherwise the case is in really good shape. The feet on the bottom, like on a lot of SM3s, these little rubber feet have worn flat. I might get some replacements for those, but I might not, because they're just not that critical. I mean, I guess if you like to use the machine in the case and you want to have it nice rubbery feet on the bottom of the case, you can do that. Otherwise, you know, if it's just for traveling and protecting the case, you don't really need new feet on the bottom here. And here's the inside. It has this, I don't know, kind of gray felt material. Looks a little, it looks dirty even though I've cleaned it out. That's just, I don't know, the age over the years, but it's totally clean. I thought about trying to spray foam it, but it's clean. It just looks, you can see, if you look in there, you can see probably what the original gray looked like, because there's some streaks. It's been cleaned out, and here's the little cleats right here that go into the back of the machine. And then here's the cleats that go in the bottom, and then once you have it in, they lock into place, and so you have to, and I'll just show you how it works. You grab the machine. So be careful when you're putting it in. You got these two little holes in the back of the body panels. Those go into those back cleats, and you just have to be careful not to scrape the machine. And then once you have it in, you'll hear it click into place, and you know it's locked when you lift up on the machine, and the whole case comes up. And then to get it out, push this on each side, and then that lifts up the front of the machine, pull it forward and out away from the cleats. And then you can see inside the case has these little rubber bumpers on each side. I guess that goes somewhere on the, I don't know, I'm not sure what that hits on the side, on the inside of the typewriter when it's closed. That obviously is to protect something. So that's it for the case. The little later models, the SM4s and SM7s had a rectangular case. I'll show you that here in just a sec. I think SM4s, you'll find an occasional SM4 in this type of space age looking silver case, but usually when you see these, they're SM3s. And we'll show you what the case that follows it looks like. And just for comparison, this is actually an SM7 inside this case here, but the SM4s came in this more traditional looking rectangular suitcase looking typewriter case. With some of them look more brown to me than others. This one is like a light gray green color with white in the middle. But usually when you see these, you'll know it's a later model, not an SM3. So that's it for the cases.
And now for the type test.
So you could probably get away with just a single piece of paper since it's got fresh rubber on it, but just as a matter of habit, I use two anyway. There it goes without having to lift the paper bail up. Try it again. Yep, usually works every time, but if you need to, you can lift up the paper bail. Okay, we'll do a couple lines on black. I already have a typo. You can hear the bell. If we keep going, get to the line lock, and then that keeps you from typing over your last letter on the line. Margin release to go into the margin. Sounds a little rattly, but it's the table, not the machine. It's just, this thing is totally rock solid. And Olympias, I don't know, they have their own touch to them. Some people don't care for it, but I love the kind of the taut feelings of the keys. And they fit my fingers really well, so I really like the typing feel on Olympia SM3s. Okay, let's do a little bit of red now. Forgot to mention this does have carriage shift, so it's a little heavier than the later SM8s and 9s that have the basket shift, but it's really not that bad. But it is slightly heavier than most basket shift machines. All right, we'll take a look at the typeface here. If you pardon the typos, you can see it's nice and crisp. There are a few machines that get, yeah, there's a little typo. Few machines that have better consistent quality output than an Olympia. Just looks really good. And excellent machine, excellent feel, and the rubber platen really does make all the difference in the world. It's just quieter and you get a little bit better results. So definitely an A+ machine as far as quality of typing and output.
We'll finish up this review of our 1958 Olympia SM3 with some pros and cons.
All right, Jonah, why don't you hit the pros?
Uncommon and gorgeous white shiny paint. Cool 1950s design with lots of chrome, just like the 50s cars.
Yeah, I didn't highlight that earlier, but there's just chrome everywhere on here. You got the chrome strip here and on the bottom that goes all the way around the machine. You can see a little chrome on the side of where the feet go in. The chrome end plates and levers. Just a really neat touch. Okay, back to the pros.
New rubber platen from J.J. Short. Still types like a dream. Rubber feet are still soft. Simplicity of manual tab stops. Case is in good shape and has original key, cleaned and tuned and adjusted. New rubber washers, sturdy pop-up paper support. Did we mention that it's absolutely gorgeous?
Yes, we did, but we're going to mention it again. It's gorgeous. And cons. We had a hard time coming up with cons for this white whale. I guess there's no dedicated number 1 key, so you just use the lowercase l. No key set tabulator. That's a plus or a minus, I guess, depending on your point of view. If you change the tabs a lot, then you might like the convenience of a key set tabulator that you have on the SM4. But if you don't, if you're like me and you rarely use your tabs, or if you just set them and leave them alone, I kind of like the simplicity of the manual tab stops. Just less complicated design. And then I guess the feet on the case are worn. Again, not a big deal to us because we don't really type with it in the case. It's just carried around. So really love this machine. Love the looks. Love the gorgeous white paint. I think it's displaced my chocolate brown Olympia SM3 is probably our all-time favorite.
Thank you for joining us on Typewriter Minutes. Be sure to share, link, like, and subscribe. Bye.